How does one go about selecting and finding a literary agent before one graduates high school?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was querying for a while. I went through the whole sent out a bunch of queries, got a bunch of rejections, sent out a bunch of queries, got a bunch of rejections, that whole spin cycle. And so I learned a lot though. I remember I queried a couple of agents, and they were, incredibly reputable, agents who clearly had sold amazing books, and they were very busy, right? Because that's what I assume. Like agents have so much work to do on top of work, on top of all this, they're reading and trying to negotiate deals and stuff. But they took the time out of their day to write me the nicest long rejection ever. And I received, I think, two incredibly kind rejections. I think one of them was over a page long, in which this agent had she had no obligation to me, this random writer that she'd never met before. She took it upon herself to write me all the things that she thought were wrong with my book in a really constructive way. And so I really value that area of the querying process, just because I got amazing feedback, even if I was getting a lot of rejections as well. But
When
I
you
knew I
got
was
that letter, did you take a day to be like, or was it just straight to hooray?
no, I was not straight to hooray. I was definitely oh no, because I mean it's always sad when you get a rejection. It's never happy, but I think a couple years out, hindsight is 2020. I think that book definitely would not have gotten into the shape that it would have gotten an agent with, had it not been for those very lengthy rejections. I mean, also a lot of the rejections were not helpful. A lot of them were just no response, or oh, sorry, which was fair. They're objective. But yeah, so I got a lot of rejections, and then I actually pitched to my agent at a Writer's Digest conference. I think when I was 15 or 16 or so. And I, pitched to her, and I was incredibly nervous. Again, goes back to the very shy Christina, scared of public speaking kind of thing. So it was the scariest thing I've ever done. And also it was pitch a novel in 30 seconds, which was even scarier because I didn't have time to, mess up or ramble or anything. But luckily she requested my manuscript, and then I revised it for a little bit. Actually, I don't really recommend this, but I realized the book wasn't ready. So I pulled it to revise a little bit, submitted it to her probably a year later, and then she offered me representation. So yeah, that was the timeline of how to get a literary agent. I recognize it's probably a little unconventional, but yeah, that's kind of my process.
You don't recommend the totally effective thing that you did that resulted in success?
I probably not, honestly. I don't recommend. I recommend querying with a very complete novel. I don't recommend finding out through your rejections that your novel is actually pretty incomplete in revisions. So,
well, in defense, I assume when you sent the novel out originally, it hadn't dawned on you that it was anything less than perfect.
Yeah, exactly. It was top tier. I was this is ready for the shelves.
it's put it next to Dickens. It's time.
Exactly.
Do you mind saying the name of your literary agent?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Jess Regal, Helm Literary. I love my agent. I want to put it on record that my agent's amazing.
And I believe Jess Regal has a 7-question interview available now at middlegradeninja.com. And Miss Regal, if you're listening, come on the show. I'd love to talk to you.